than Linux.
Actually, well, that tracks. Even though we'd have to go east to get to the home of Linus.
Right. We would have to because we're too far west.
Yeah.
We've gone off the edge of the map.
If we go any farther west, we're in the far east.
Hey, that's
Maps
true.
are a circle.
I've done it, Brian. I tried it. It works.
I lost a day. That's time I'll never get back. Oh, you did get it back.
I know. You get it back when you come back.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about flying west across the date line is that, arriving before you left situation.
Isn't that bonkers?
Yeah.
Hello, W. Scottus 1. Hold on, let me see.
Willie Scott!
Hey, there we go. Boo, boo. Hello, G. James B.
Did
Hello,
we get Amos
Dylan
back?
Theus. What's that?
Did Amos come back? Oh, there he is.
Hey.
I'm here. Hey,
Hello,
speaking
best
of the
darn
Dateline real
computer.
quick, the first time we had the F-22, the most advanced fighter ever, flew to Hawaii and was supposed to go to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
They left Hawaii and had to turn around because their computers weren't programmed to.
They had a
adjust
mini
for
Y2K?
for the Dateline.
That's hilarious.
So they had to
That's
come back.
amazing.
And I think it was a 8 ship, so there's 8 planes that were flying out, maybe it's 6, but I think 3 of them had the problem, and they go in pairs, so 3 pairs had to come back.
That's
Oh,
funny.
wow.
So yeah, I mean that was 2007, 2008.
Yeah, when you can fly that fast, you can cross a time zone real quick.
Yeah.
So
What do you say?
Y2K, kept going.
What do you say, Tom? You want to do a show?
Hold on. Yes.
Good. I'm glad you checked your notes. All right, Ryan, take us in whenever.
Welcome to Cordkillers. This show documents the upturning of the world of entertainment while we still just want to watch what we want, where we want, whenever we want. I'm Tom Merritt with Brian Brushwood.
What a charitable way to put it. The upturning of the entertainment world. That's different from the mass slaughter of cable. There's coax left and right, BNC connectors as far as I can see.
Yeah, I mean, there's a glass half empty, and, well, at least there's a glass way of looking at it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, folks, if you're encountering Cordkillers for the first time, since the time when people are like, you cannot possibly cut the cord. That's just not a thing you can do unless you're willing to go without TV. Since that time, we have been documenting this change to now people are like, I miss cable. Why can't I get cable TV again? It was just one bill and only one thing to complain about instead of a dozen.
Yeah. You know what? We were going to change the name of the show to Cord Revivers, but we all just know then it would have to be Cord Recidivists as we murdered yet again.
Yes, indeed. So instead, we look to figure out how to make our way forward to watch what we want, when we want, where we want in the post-apocalyptic wasteland that is entertainment streaming these days, starting with a supply run.
Supply run, supply run, supply run.
For our supply run topic today, these are always our big thinker topics. I looked at this story on Variety that time spent viewing on YouTube grew enough that ad sales in the first quarter, that's like January through March, rose 10.7%. YouTube generated, therefore, more than $60 billion in revenue across all of 2025, making it, Brian, YouTube is the industry's largest generator of entertainment revenue. So it's no surprise. Are you surprised?
No. I'm surprised that specific number is out. If I was YouTube, I would keep that so quiet. I would actively try to, well, I don't know. They're trying to sell
Here's
ads.
the problem with being a public company.
Yeah, okay, right.
United
You kind of
States
have
of
to report your
America.
numbers.
Yeah,
Good point.
Exactly. Anyway, it's no surprise that Google TV is soon going to show YouTube Shorts right on the homepage. So if you're using a Google device or a Google smart TV or a smart TV that runs it, you'll be able, or you won't be able to avoid seeing YouTube shorts right on the homepage. It'll also let you edit images and create videos with Gemini using your voice. That's right. When you're sitting watching television, you can talk to your television and say, hey, create a video with Brian Brushwood dancing with Tom Merritt to the Macarena. And you might be able to do that, although it'll probably give you some kind of error about, public images or something. But you'll be able to do stuff like that with your voice on your TV. So your TV is for watching YouTube shorts. It's for creating videos with Gemini. And even Netflix is now putting vertical videos in its mobile app, short clips from series, films, and specials tailored to your tastes. That way, when you're on your phone, you got an easy way to go deeper when something grabs your attention. Because, kids love the shorts these days. So Netflix says, well, let's give the kids what they want so we can pull them into watching Red Notice. Anyway, with your TV playing TikTok-style videos, your streaming service doing shorts, your TV editing images with AI, and YouTube, now the biggest entertainment company in the world. I have a question for you, Brian.
Yes.
What is television?
Tom, quite literally, what we have right now, if it was described in, let's say, 1989, it would be described as a wall, a video wall, a magical computer wall, on screen, they would say on Star Trek, watching the news from Mars, they would be doing on Total Recall. We wouldn't call it TV because we already had something in our heads under the label of TV. But meanwhile, we already kind of saw what happened when it comes to what we consider a phone nowadays. We used to have what a phone was, and then we called them smartphones for a little bit. I think we just call them phones again, right?
Yeah.
And then because we're not
in
using
casual conversation, where's my phone? You don't say, where is my smartphone? Or where is my mid-range smartphone? No, it's phone.
Right, exactly. So phone had an address that went vacant, so we were able to move our understanding of phone into that address. I think the same thing's true with TV. TV means the big thing that stays on in the room. And I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, I think you're absolutely right about the device, right? When a TV is a TV, even though it's flat and it's 55, 65 or more inches, it's still the TV.
Or smaller. I mean, perfectly serviceable if a TV's smaller. He says,
your TV's less than 55 inches, I am not here to judge you.
See. Oh, I'm going to take a picture, Tom. I'm going to send you a picture of this perfectly serviceable view that I have
on your
of you.
phone?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I will.
That is also a camera.
Oh my God. I'm
and
embarrassed of it when I look at it this way. There we go. Cordkillers.
My TV is 55 inches and it always looks small. People are like, why do you have such a small TV? It's just the room that you have it in. Anyway, I think you're right about the device, but what about the content? Because when we talk about TV historically, we say, I have a TV. This is my TV. This is the TV. But when we talk about the shows, when we talk about the things we watch, we talk about TV, not a TV. That we drop the article. It's like, oh, what's on TV? What TV do you like? Do you watch TV? What about that part of it? What is television programming, to be more specific?
This may be, I'm going to pitch you some ideas. You could tell me which of these you like and resonate with. Some of these, it'll depend on what era you hail from. It used to be that TV was the family gathers around like a campfire machine, right? It was a connection to the outside world. Then, in my youth, TV became the thing that was on all day. It was your connective thread, but it also could be the lean forward judge of extended cable box where you were a god of Olympus, right? That experience, that channel flipping experience is the heart of shorts. Like next, no, next, you're just riding the dopamine wave. And the moment you're bored, you swipe next, right? Whereas that the TV experience, I feel like, is inherently lean back. You do not want to summon all those calories to lean all the way forward to lift a remote and change to another piece of content. If you and your loved ones in the room agree about what's going on TV, then you better believe everybody hopes that nobody has to lean over and be bothered to pick up that remote. So TV becomes truly passive, not so much a lean forward campfire experience, but a bonfire in the background experience for everyone, or something you almost certainly are doing something else with it's on, unless you're watching a feature presentation. And overlooked in this discussion, because we have that bifurcation between phone. Oh, look at this. The lighting makes it look like I'm by a fire. Yeah. In the warm glow of Brian's predictions.
On the post-apocalyptic TV landscape.
That's right. That's right. As we huddle for warmth. What's interesting is you left out the desktop users, which is a different type. It's a third type of experience. You are in a cockpit. If you are watching a video, it is strategic because you usually want to know the thing, and your finger's on that mouse and you're able to jump forward and backwards and scroll heavily in that desktop experience. I think they're just three totally polar opposite directions, X, Y, and Z axis, but I'd love to hear what you think, Tom.
Yeah, so I think it's really interesting that you bring up the desktop situation, because I think that proves my point. Well, not proves my point, that it shines a light on the different definitions of TV. You would never call your desktop or your phone or your tablet or your laptop a TV, right? TV as a device name is reserved for the thing that sits in the living room and you mostly use to watch videos on. Even though you can use Gemini to create some images with it. Whereas your laptop, your phone, those are used for other things. So TV is a thing you watch on those. And that's where I'm trying to get to a little bit here is I think TV, when we say TV, what do you watch on TV? Do you watch TV? What TV do you like? We almost always mean dramas or sitcoms or something like that. Maybe on the fringes are like the waterfall stuff, like, oh, I have the news on, or music. Not that there's music videos really outside of YouTube, though, I guess. But we usually mean the shows when we say TV. And I was always under the impression that we would always want that. We would always consider that to be the premiere, is, what are the big shows that people deliver? And as cable was replaced, I always knew that it's, perilous to predict the future, but I'm like, I bet we get something that is similar to the selection of programming we've always had, but it's just arranged differently. Now I don't know. I think TV is changing more fundamentally than I would have guessed, because you do have all of the shows that were on primetime TV in the broadcast era or available on your programming guide from your cable television, or even something that you could record to your DVR and watch later. But we have YouTube. And I don't think anyone foresaw YouTube. To go back to what you were saying earlier, Brian, about, in the future, we would, from 1989, we would look at it and go, oh my gosh, what is that? YouTube is endless television programming. And I think we are stuck in the metaphor of like, well, there's TV and YouTube, right? YouTube is different. YouTube is user generated. But what these numbers are telling me, and what I have come to understand, and I know this is somewhat self-interested for us because we're broadcasting on YouTube, but what I've come to understand is I don't think that distinction is going to last that much longer. I think YouTube is television, and HBO Max is television, and Vimeo is television, and anything that gives you a decent quality video entertainment product is television.
Yeah. Well, W. Scottus one in the chat says there's even a difference between TV and streaming and YouTube, what's interesting is we were talking about device and function, but there also is a difference in terms of expectations of types of programming, right?
Sure.
So it's like,
yeah.
Much like Dragon Con or Burning Man or DEF CON is several conventions that are all happening in parallel to each other, YouTube is really 3, 4, 5 different platforms that all just happen to be under the banner of, if you are an independent person with something to say, it is possible to say it here. But you better believe that the short, and I think YouTube was hoping this wouldn't be the case, but it's pretty clear that the shorts people don't like to make the pivot over to the long forms, and even the crossover. I mean, it depends on whatever your property is that you're consuming. But it's fascinating to see how the rules are different in terms of content creation.
Right. There's shorts which are really meant for mobile. Even though they're putting them up on Google TV, I don't expect that shorts will ever be a big play on the big screen. People will watch them from time to time, but it will mostly be a mobile thing. Can
I pitch you on a vision where it does change? So if I'm YouTube, then what I want is people to link shorts and video. It's pretty clear from the back end that what they hope to have happen is while you're in channel flipping mode, you're also in A/B testing mode. You're also in focus group mode.
Exactly what Netflix is trying to do too, right? Yeah, it's the same premise.
So along with that, we've got all these smart TVs that increasingly have cameras on them. And we're coming up with fake other reasons for cameras to be there, for video calls or all these things you're not going to do. But ultimately, where I think we're headed is you're going to sit down to YouTube and shorts will come on the screen and you're just going to flick with your finger. Just dip, 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 dip. We're going to get back to that channel flipping experience. And then when you linger just a little bit too long, the default will be, and this will be, if I'm right, this is the thing I'm hoping for, it'll be an opt-out, like, oh, well, you ran out of time and you didn't flip forward. So now, kind of like organ donation, the nudge unit in the UK, Richard Thaler won a Nobel Peace Prize for it. Like, you have to opt out of organ donation. I would love it if a little bit of a nudge was short plays. You love it. You watch it a few times. You have to opt out to keep in shorts land, or it just nudges you into watching the full content. Because in the full content is where you're able to tangibly measure deeper relationships. Because there's sort of, if you're committed to not turning the phone or whatever it is, whatever the layer of investment is to watch a 12-minute long magnum opus, like some people balk at that. And I would love to see this new era of TV kind of soften that barrier.
I have two questions about that. One is that is a great explanation of how shorts could be used should it become popular on the TV, but it doesn't say it will become popular on the TV. Do you really think people will want to watch shorts on the lean back big TV experience? Because I don't.
I think you are correct. They will say that they will not, and they will.
No, I don't. I think it's the opposite. I think they'll say that they do. I love TikTok. I love shorts. Of course I want that on my TV. And then will they do it? No. They'll be like, oh, no, I do that on my phone. Well, they'll just want to watch regular stuff when they're on the TV. They'll choose it more often.
Well, luckily for our blue sky discussion, YouTube gets to choose what the user interface is like. And if Netflix is any indication, every single one of us, to a person, hates, capital HATES, the fact that YouTube just starts screaming trailers at you. And yet every single one of us has ended up watching an entire movie or TV show because it did that. We got sucked in on it. So Netflix runs on behaviors. If we were all canceling our Netflix over it, they would have adjusted their behavior. But instead, clearly what it does is work. And so likewise, I could imagine whatever we say or think, if YouTube makes the design interface that, and it works, and it gives us, a bridge, like right now, you watch a long form and then it autoplays another long form. If instead you're able to kind of fractal like zoom in and out and shorts were integrated, that'd be neat. That's about all I'm saying. I'm not wishing or predicting. I'm just saying that'd be neat.
I think you think it's neat because you would like to use it.
And certainly I've sunk a lot of time and effort into trying to understand. And for anybody not caught up on the Brian meta, Brian correctly focused on long forms, correctly noticed when YouTube was serious about shorts, put 2-3 years into a vast, robust library of highly curated, excellent looping pixels of shorts. And that seemed to all be evergreen. And now my efforts, by the way, today's 189 in a row of going live for office hours. That's where I predict the new meta is. But of course, that's no surprise to you old heads because I say that every week on this show.
Yeah. I just feel like shorts, I mean, the fact that they're vertical tells me everything. We don't see horizontal shorts yet. If we see that, I will start to rethink. I'll be like, but we don't see that. The fact that they're putting it on Google TV is the first indication that they're like, no, maybe it'll work
my God.
on the big form.
Tom, you just answered your own question. Okay, hypothetically, let's imagine that this whole shorts on TV thing, those are fake things that they don't mean, but they have to say them so that they keep on saying the words shorts on TV, shorts on TV. And then people see it. And then what do they say? They complain. Everyone's going to say, I like the idea, but I hate the vertical video. Let that simmer for another 6 to 8 months. Then you swoop in and you say, introducing a new checkbox for every creator. Turn my highest engagement moments into shorts. You algorithmically hit that button. And all of a sudden, all your greatest hits from all your channels ever, they become the horizontal. Like you can, if you're a crazy enough person, actually edit together a horizontal short, but you won't need to. Just like Opus Clips already takes your long form podcasts and chops them into little bite-sized 1 to 2 minute chunks. That's got to be it, Tom.
I think that is a solution to a problem that you would like to exist.
Man, I'm full of ideas.
Yeah. I really am stuck on the idea that this whole thing of shorts on a big screen TV, okay, not on a mobile device, because that's what Netflix is doing. They're like, we're putting the shorts on the mobile device. They're not betting on the big screen yet. YouTube is the only one even doing something close to that. But it makes me think this whole thing smells like a thing that, man, all the people who make the products, both the platforms and the creators, would really like you to do. And you've laid out very eloquently why it would be great if you wanted to watch shorts. But I have seen over and over and over, watching technology develop over the past 30 years, that there are plenty of ideas that they really would like you to do as the consumer, that the consumer is like, yeah, I'm not interested in that. Why did you do that? Why did you make that? And they all have this kind of reasoning behind them, right? This kind of like, yes, but if we just, nudge them to do it, then they'll enjoy it. And I don't think people want to do it. Now, if I'm wrong, and it is the situation where like they just didn't know they wanted to do it until we nudged them enough, then it'll absolutely, everything you said plays out, right? That all makes sense, and we're like flowing down that river. I don't know why. My gut tells me people are like, yeah, but I don't want to watch shorts on my big screen TV. I want to watch them on my small screen, not on my big screen.
Yeah, and I don't even know how much cheering for it one way or the other I'm doing, so much as like I don't see a future where 2 out of the 3 types of YouTube content are the only ones that get viewed on it. Like I don't see any version where TV is just lives and long forms. They've got to come up with something.
But it's not. I think when you sit down on the couch, you want horizontal. And you want it to be meant for you horizontally. I feel like it's 5 minutes, 3 minutes, but not 2 minutes or less. That's too short. That's
5
too much.
minute catch-up
I have to do
videos.
something.
Like
I watch a lot of 5 minute videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's kind of my appetizer of like, oh, 5 minutes, 8 minutes starts to push the edge, but I've got time to watch a few of those. And then I'm going to settle in and watch my 15-minute video or my 30-minute video. And at that point, it might be on YouTube, or I might be switching over to watch hacks, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. Or even, I can see, real quick, we talked about the AI piece you brought up.
Oh, the Gemini thing.
Yeah. Think about this. That could be an entry point for a new type of content that would be a version of an automatic licensing. Because it's a new type of content, then nobody has preconceived notions about what they should and shouldn't allow for it. But think about how before Movie Clips channel got started, everybody was just uploading bootleg clips, and they were so useful for like this Big Lebowski scene, this, that, and whatever. And then Movie Clips started chopping them all up.
Right.
Imagine I don't know, a person in your life does a thing that reminds you of a movie moment. With them getting paid, you're like, take that movie, show me that movie scene moment. And you're like, great, put Tom in it. I did a double backflip and then he fell down a well. Hilarious. And then it's like, send that to Tom. And now I get that thought. We have the shared image. We get a little bit of what you and I enjoyed about Sora, rest in peace, of that shared daydream.
Well, and it is what Disney wanted to use Sora for, we think. Well, I guess we'll never know.
But then all of a sudden, imagine all those clips, like they just show up in the back catalog. They're not meant to be watched and enjoyed as part of the movie themselves, but instead just for remix use only. Can you imagine that type of white labeled clip?
And I feel like that seems to me like something that 10% to 20% of your users will do.
Well, and there's a lot of
it's worth doing because it will engage them and keep them. It may not ever be massively popular, but it'll be popular enough that it's worth having that feature because people will do it. And maybe they won't even do it constantly, but they'll get into a kick where, you know, the family will all do it. That's what Disney was hoping, or friends and the roommates, etc. Have fun playing around. It's a toy. It's a toy that hopefully for them, they will hope enough people continue to discover and enjoy playing with, even if it's not a long-term situation.
Yeah, there's something powerful. Like ultimately, Sora, the curse of the 15-second waits and the getting noted to death and the kind of world's worst gambling where it's like you put a lot of effort to a thing and then it makes it and it's so good it says you can't see it. And it's like, what is that? So, but absent all of that, the benefits, and I don't know how many of our audience really dove into it, but I can't express enough how much I love the fact that unlike my actual dreams, which I can only describe to Tom and he'll come up with his own version of it, the dreams that I sent over Sora, we both have the exact same dream of what it looked like. That's pretty neat. That seems powerful in some profound way that maybe we'll figure out a use for down the road.
And I think all of this is pointing to the fact that TV is kind of YouTube right now. Like, I have caught myself more than once mad that YouTube TV is not integrated into YouTube.
Yeah.
And we could go off on a whole separate topic about what the business pressures are and negotiations and why this is and why that isn't. But as a user, I just want it to be, because I'm watching everything on YouTube and then I have to switch apps to watch hacks. I have to switch apps to turn on the game. And wouldn't it be great if it was just all in one experience? And I don't know if that means YouTube becomes that experience or whether YouTube gets integrated into Google TV and Google TV becomes that experience, or maybe Apple TV or Amazon Prime or whatever. But I think we are headed to a world where we don't want a service except that we want a platform. We want a platform where we can get all of our television, from the shorts to the 5-minute things, to the live streams, to the vlogs, to the chill hop beats, background music, to Game of Thrones. Like, we want it all in one particular platform. I think that's really what people want. And yeah, they want it in one bill and they don't have to think about which service stuff is on, for sure too. But I think YouTube is more a percentage of TV than we realize for a large number of people.
Well, and I think that YouTube is being very, very smart by keeping themselves, every other service, every other streaming over-the-top service has to at some point say, we're great for this reason. We've got the blah, 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 blah. The power of a pronoun, Tom, the fact that YouTube will now and forever say, oh, we're just the conduit. You are the magic. That
We're
is
just the platform.
powerful. And
We're just the dumb pipe.
no silly old us.
And a really smart algorithm.
All we do is just decide all the winners and losers. What's in your head?
But customized winners and losers for every individual. It fascinates me. It has frustrated me at some points in my career that YouTube doesn't have a homepage.
Yep.
That they never had a place where you could see the most popular stuff. And they were right. That worked for them very well.
Yeah.
Patreon's trying to do that now too. Patreon's trying to create an ecosystem where you can discover other creators on Patreon, a la the way YouTube does it.
Yeah, dude. Well, there's only one way to experience it, though. You really have to be a backer of someone. You have to be a patron. And we don't really care who you're a patron of, but all things being equal, it is me right now telling you to go to patreon.com/Cordkillers and become one of our beautiful bosses. Just $2 a month. That's all we're asking for. $2 an episode. Did I say per month? Wow. What is this? 2012? Come on.
We haven't been forced to go monthly yet. So $2 an episode. Everybody.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
$2
keep
an
that in your
episode.
head.
Yeah, let us split one fancy drink. Imagine you took us out for a drink at a bar and you got a $15 cocktail and then you gave us 2 little sippy straws and we split it. That's all we're asking for. Just one of those.
Just has one sippy straw. That's all we
That's
want.
it. That's it. Come on, man. Just head on over
You
to
can't give
Patreon.
us a freaking sippy straw?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's kind of weird that you're suddenly stingy about this whole thing just because of our order. Hey, man, we don't judge you. Don't you judge us?
Patreon.com/Cordkillers to resolve this judgment. Okay.
Right. You know what?
Thank
G.
you
James
very
B
much.
just says $16 a month. Just give $16 a month. Yeah. No, that sounds right.
Well,
That sounds
you can
fair.
do that too. All right. I'm in. Shall we then move on to the search party?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Brian. Hollywood is in a tizzy today.
Why is that?
A veritable tizzy because Netflix pushed back the release of Greta Gerwig's Narnia the Magician's Nephew movie from Thanksgiving this year to February 12th, 2027. But it's not because they pushed a Christian author out of the holiday season closer to Valentine's Day that they're in a tizzy. Oh no, it's because Netflix is not going to show the movie on Netflix until April 2nd. And you may recall that I just said it goes to theaters February 12th. My friends, that's a 45-day window. That's a normal, for these days, theatrical window. And everybody's trying to figure out what Netflix is really up to. But it sounds like you'll be able to just watch that Narnia movie in AMC theaters, Regal theaters, IMAX theaters, whatever kind of theater you want. And you'll have to wait a little more than a month to watch it on Netflix.
Man, I don't know. It's almost like Netflix is like, behold, Hollywood, could have been you. Could have been you. Instead, we'll play your game and crush you as we crushed all those who came before us.
It's almost be careful what you wished for, Hollywood, right? Like, I understand that it's not sour grapes. Like, it's tempting to go, Netflix, nobody believed Netflix would honor the window if they acquired Warner Brothers. So now they'll show you, they'll start honoring windows and won't you be upset? But it does feel like maybe Netflix, when they were looking at the books, which is a part of the whole acquisition process that nobody really talks about, but you get to, under confidentiality agreements, look at the books, and you can't use proprietary knowlage of that. However, you can
also
change your
can't
opinions about
unknow
things,
whatever you know, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not an abuse of knowledge to have Netflix go, you know what? Maybe we will honor a 45-day window.
Oh,
I don't
so
know
that's
why, but
you know
suddenly I feel like I can make a lot of money off of that.
It's like I consider buying Mr. Beast's channel, and I walk away saying, you know what? Maybe I'll have arrows in my thumbnails. That's my idea.
Exactly. Just occurred to me out of nowhere. But yeah, the town did most of their episode on this week, and they really are trying to figure out like what is Netflix doing? Like nobody believes that Netflix is just going to start doing all their movies in a 45-day window, myself included. But is it just a Greta Gerwig thing where she convinced them because she's very persuasive and very successful? Is it a Netflix has had a change of heart like we're saying right here, where they figured like, actually, you can increase your streams if you do all the marketing that goes around a theatrical release, and if you pick the right movies, make a lot of money in the theaters on top of it. I kind of feel like it's something like that, and they'll be picking selectively which movies go out into the theaters. But it does feel like it's possible Netflix doesn't changes one of their long-standing precepts again, which is like, oh, we'll never do theatrical exclusives, which has become the only thing you can count on with Netflix is they will someday change their mind.
I mean, Netflix is in such a good position, and they just happen to have threaded the needle by offering cash and pulling a Paul Anka that all of Hollywood is weakened and in chaos, infighting among themselves at the fallout. That seems like a repeatable strategy that if I was, a dark wizard and making recommendations, I'd say, keep doing that. Just keep doing things that you expect will upset someone.
And Netflix has also been warming up to theaters. They did the sing-along versions of K-pop Demon Hunters. They've been putting more things in theaters, even, doing deals with AMC. This is obviously the first time they'll be doing a full-on 45-day window for something this way. But I think it's a combination of them going, this strategy is different. Maybe it can work sometimes. So I don't think they're going to do 30 movies a year the way Paramount has promised, but I wouldn't bet against 5, 4 or 5.
I mean, okay, so if I'm Netflix and this is purely zero-sum Machiavellian thinking, if this does well, then you get to start leeching top talent away from Hollywood. And then it becomes like a old guard versus new guard. In general, spoiler alert, it's usually better to bet on the new guard whenever it comes to that kind of thing.
Okay, here's our canary in the coal mine. Christopher Nolan announces a movie coming to Netflix.
I mean, all they got to do is say, everything's an IMAX. We have a new standard. It's hooray for IMAX.
And you've got
vision.
a 45-day window, Chris, so people will have to go see it in the theaters.
Each of your movies, there's a 10-second unskippable, better if you go see it in IMAX thing.
Yeah, right. Something like that. By the way, The Boys' 5th season and series finale will show in movie theaters. This is Amazon, obviously, but another example of how it's not just we need to put the window back, although Netflix is doing that. It's we need to find other things to put in the theater. So if you want to watch The Boys series finale with a bunch of other Boys fans, you can do it at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, May 19th in 4DX theaters from a lot of different chains, Regal, AMC, a bunch of them.
Yeah, that's number one. Thank goodness they're doing something with those places. If they're not going to be bothered to put movies in them, might as well put TV shows.
Well, it seems like we're seeing more TV show premieres and finales showing in theaters because turns out, yes, watching on a big screen with a huge sound system is one of the big advantages, but the other is being with friends.
Yeah. And also making new friends if they're really wise,
like-minded folks. Yeah.
Yeah. If they're really wise, they'll spend a little bit of money, essentially a cruise ship director role. Because think about it, as the world, getting back to spinning up those extroversion engines, all things being equal, go to a place where everybody speaks the same language with the same. Well, again, it's the same shared daydream. You and I pine for the monoculture that exists in little pockets. In that room, in The Boys, it will be like good old 1980s broadcast television. You'll all be speaking the same language.
Because everyone will laugh at the same jokes. Everyone will gasp at the same reveals. When you have an original IP, and this is not me saying original IP is bad. I love original IP. but everybody's experiencing it for the first time. So not everybody's going to laugh at the same things or gasp at the same things. But in season 5 of The Boys, the people who will pay to go to the theater to watch it are the super fans who know every beat and will all be in tune to the same situations. And that's fun. That as somebody who's done that in other venues for other properties, that really is fun when you get that mass reaction. And you're like, oh yeah, everybody else here gets it too. That's cool.
Yeah.
One of the longest running IPs is Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. And Christopher Nolan, who we just mentioned, is making a movie you must see in theaters. It's The Odyssey, starring Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, Charlize Theron, Mia Goth, Benny Safdie, John Bernthal, and John Leguizamo. I bet most of you knew all of those names. This is an incredibly star-studded cast. It is literally one of the oldest stories known to humankind. And Christopher Nolan thinks he's done an amazing version of it, and you can test that theory in theaters July 17th.
To steal a note from Mr. Show, our recent full experience, maybe it'll turn into something. Good for you.
I like The Odyssey very much. I've read it multiple times. I think it's a great story. It's a literal hero's journey, right? And yet, I should be more excited by this trailer.
It does feel a little bit like your favorite remedial homework coming back.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. And I say this knowing that I probably would make a lifelong enemy of Christopher Nolan if he ever listens to me say this. But it didn't feel like I had to see it in theaters from this trailer.
So if this is where my marketing guru vision kicks in, if you've got the goods, remember we saw this on Andor. Remember when the trailer for Andor was a really weird kind of Tom Petty sounding thing? Yeah. And it's like, this looks bad. And that's what you do if you know you've got the hardcores and you've got the goods. So the strength of the Odyssey as a story, it's all the video game beats. It's Scylla and Charybdis. It's the Lotus Eaters. It's, and. It's these little hop and like, ooh, that was a fun mini boss that we go through. The trailer, very light on those. That's the meat of it. I suspect they're holding back because they know they got the goods, and if they can release, they know they're going to get everybody opening weekend, and they know the word of mouth is going to say, "You think it's the Cyclops? You think it's this? Yeah. No, it's this part." I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah, because the frame story is what's happening while Odysseus is gone. And that's the majority of what we see in the trailer, which is like Brian saying, like, you're not seeing the good stuff. Also, the Cyclops I don't know if maybe the
didn't look great.
Isn't done, but it didn't look great to be. So yeah.
The value of the Cyclops, quite literally, is going to be the training data. Like, they built an actual giant Cyclops and they got cameras on it doing a bunch of Cyclops stuff. Get ready for that to be 5 years from now, maybe 2 years from now, used for crappy King Kong knockoffs, kaiju attack, and whatever. It's going to be de rigueur, like a Transmorphers movie with CGI, where it's like, technically this is all the spectacle, but
yeah. We also got a trailer for Ted Lasso's new season. We talked about the fact that they're bringing it back for a season 4, except Ted is going to be coaching the women's soccer team that did not exist for FC Richmond, and that begins on August 5th on Apple TV.
Tom, I'm loath to admit that I don't have high hopes for this, because Ted Lasso was already very organically, very earnestly girl power, and it did so underneath the surface. Like the original Ted Lasso shorts were kind of toxic Western blinders on stuff, and they were able to massage it into, a rejection of toxic masculinity and all this stuff. So it was on the surface never a girl power thing, but strongly was. Now they have on the surface, and there's only two ways to go with that when you're making good art, is you can have it be on the surface and then really swing us around by making it a thoughtful excoriation of surface level tokenism. I don't predict that from Ted Lasso. And maybe they're more adept than I expect. Maybe I'm not giving enough credit, but this certainly was not part of the concept from the beginning. And we've already seen a season or two of a little bit. Yeah, we'll take more of them checks. So I don't see why they would be incentivized to do anything risky or interesting. And so now what was the cool beneath the surface thing becomes the obvious on the surface thing. And I don't have high hopes.
Yeah, I saw a lot of similar beats, but to our previous conversation, maybe that's what you do to reassure people like, hey, don't worry, Ted Lasso isn't changing too much yet till you watch it. But yeah, we will find out.
I hope they have the goods. That'd be great.
Yeah. Andy Serkis says that Viggo Mortensen is, quote, thrilled with Jamie Dornan being cast as Aragorn in The Hunt for Gollum. That's what Andy Serkis said.
I was about to say.
We have not heard from Viggo Mortensen.
If there's one opinion I trust about what somebody I don't know believes, it's somebody besides that person who stands to profit if that's the case.
In fact, I really wish I would have made note of the actual quote. So let me get to it. It was Andy Serkis was on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. I'm going to save all the discussion about casting. Other than that, we are thrilled that Jamie's doing it. I mean, we're absolutely thrilled. And by the way, so is Viggo.
Yeah,
that's the quote.
That's just the only thing I think is a pity that tactically that's going to come out as looking as him playing defense when he didn't mean for it to be.
I don't know that I care, honestly. If Jamie Dornan does a great Aragorn, I will care very small. If Viggo Mortensen could still do a great Aragorn, and this is covering the fact that he wanted to and they wouldn't let him, I might care. But I don't think even Viggo Mortensen believes that, like, at his age, doing a younger Aragorn makes sense. So, yeah, I think you're right.
If anything, important to him because you also you think about legacy, right? Like, just put it bluntly, Brian, you should rock the spikes again. Ask me in 10 pounds. It could be that simple. It's like, I am not willing to do the things to my body that it would take to make this a treat.
And we are seeing a story that takes place before they meet Aragorn. So I guess he's not younger. He's just earlier in the story. He would be the same age that he was 20 years ago when they shot Lord of the Rings. 20 years ago, he was 47. Today, he's 67. And yes, you can do a lot with the aging. And I guess if he really wanted to do it, maybe that would work. I don't know. But again, if Jamie Dornan does a great job, not going to mind. Not going to mind at all. Per Nielsen data, U.S. viewers viewed 33 billion minutes, that's equivalent to 550 million hours, of Star Wars last year. This is all stuff that came out on May the 4th, because May the 4th be with you. That was across linear TV and streaming. Star Wars films accounted for the biggest share of the viewing at 44.2%. A New Hope was the most viewed title of the films. People watch the original Star Wars the most, even now, followed by The Phantom Menace, the number 2, and then Rogue One. The live-action shows made up 38.9% of viewing, and Andor was the most viewed live-action series, while Star Wars animated projects accounted for 16.8% of the viewing. I don't know what you made of this, Brian, but I looked at it and said, people like to start at the beginning. And the beginning either means the first movie to hit theaters or the first movie in the sequential story, The Phantom Menace. And people love Andor. And so they want to go watch that movie that happens at the end of Andor.
Okay, I know Tony Gilroy has all but announced that he's done with Star Wars. It's been an awful lot. After a couple years nap, you're telling me when the tools make it real easy, somebody walks up to Tony Gilroy and say, hey, man, how about these ragdoll physics with the stormtroopers? You want to scale it back? Would you mind recutting it to be a little more in line with the incredible work you did on Andor?
The only reason that might not work is if what he's really tired of is fitting a story in the universe, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a story thing, not a technology thing. But yeah, I wouldn't mind see if he was up to it. All right, let's move on to the buried treasure.
Most people want to know why they suddenly got rich.
Buried treasure.
Buried Treasure is the segment of the show where we talk about stuff we have been watching and our experiences doing it, maybe adding some stuff to your watch list. Brian, what you got?
Tom, I watched a movie trailer, and it took me 2 days to get around to watching it, but I'm so glad I did. It is for a documentary about the phenomenon of Knight Rider. And put in context, the first scene in this documentary trailer is a scene from Magnum P.I. about the scene of action TV shows and about how show business, you put on a good
amazing.
show, you get good business. And it's got David Hasselhoff. It's got the voice of Kit. It's got all the stunt coordinators. And then later in the middle of this 6-minute trailer, by the way, just YouTube search Knight Rider Declassified and you'll find it. They start showing footage. You see the Kit Trans Am doing leaps, but then you see it crashing and crashing and crashing. And they're talking about how many Trans Ams they completely nuked and about how there's only 5 left or whatever. And then it says coming to, and it just goes to a website. Here's my favorite part, Tom. Where do you think this lives? Given the fact that it's got the son of Glenn A. Larson, it's got all the stunt coordinators, all of the actors who are still alive in it. It's a 5-part, 5-hour miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only
and
available.
It's on a platform that I know, right?
Yes.
Not like just like a proprietary KnightRiderDeclassified.com or Kickstarter or something.
Well, actually,
yeah,
you know what? The platform is Blu-ray. There will only be physical media, and a specific promise they make on the trailer is never any other type of media. This Blu-ray, 5 of them, it's mostly done. You could buy yours for $99. For $199,
That's
your name
clever.
gets in the credits. For $5,000, they interview you for a brief spot on there. It is a straight up nostalgia money bomb, and I'm here for it. They have a hard cutoff date, and they made hard promises that essentially were like, you either pay us money or you wait for it to hit piracy. That's it. The end.
Well, and you will continue to be able to buy it, or no? They're like, once we're done making them, that's it. That's all that will exist. You have to get
the
it
impression I got is that they're going to make as many as pre-ordered.
And then that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Is it a Kickstarter or is it their own special?
Yeah. If you go to Knight Rider Declassified, it shows you the packages. But
okay, so it's not a Kickstarter.
No,
it's their own.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they get to keep more money that way. That's good too. Well, that is fascinating. Why are they using YouTube to promote it then?
Because it was on Joe
Why not
Blow's
just promote
movie
it by
trailers.
distributing Blu-rays?
No, in fact, I wonder how much the YouTube channel, because it was a Joe Blow Movies exclusive, they touted it as.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. My sister loves to watch the Kentucky Derby every year, and usually we're text messaging each other before it happens about who we're going to pick. This year, I was actually in the St. Louis area celebrating my sister's birthday with her and got to watch the Kentucky Derby with her. Apparently, I was not alone. An estimated record 24.4 million people watched Golden Tempo have a historic comeback win. NBC released the figure based on preliminary data, so we may get a refinement to them. But it's probably going to still be ahead the previous peak audience, which was last year with 21.8 million. Now, I want to explain how I had to watch it, because I think for cord cutters, that is going to be interesting. But before I do that, Brian, pretty interesting to see a very old-fashioned sporting event continue to rise in the era of infinite choice and streaming.
Yeah, I think it boils down to it's just a side effect of, Tom, are there actual beings doing actual things?
Yeah.
Then yes, like that's only going to get more powerful and more compelling.
Now, we were in a hotel at the time the Derby happened. We had gone out to eat and we had come back, and my sister was like, oh, great, we're in time for the Derby. So, of course, we turn on the television because it's on NBC. The easiest option, you would think, is to turn on a hotel television and turn it to Channel 5. The KSDK, as my sister and I have done since we were born, to watch NBC. What we got was, this channel is unavailable. Your signal is too weak.
Too weak. Wait a minute. So the TV...
Turns out all the local channels on the hotel TV had the same message. If you went to the cable channels, they were fine. So we started to suspect that they were using DirecTV and an antenna to save money on the local channels because they were in downtown St. Louis, so they could get really good signal. And something was wrong with the antenna, and that's why we weren't seeing it. So there was a little card that said, would you like to Chromecast to your TV? Scan this QR code. I'm like, okay, great. I will launch my DirecTV stream on my phone, get the Derby on, which I was able to do, no problem. Hotel Wi-Fi was helping. I scan the thing, I connect it to Chromecast. It shows up on the TV. We're saved. My sister's like, "Oh, good. This will be fine. Like it's just like we're watching it." A minute, we haven't started the actual race yet. A minute in, just stops. Swirl.
Oh no.
And I'm like, "Oh, is it the hotel Wi-Fi?" So I cancel the casting. Comes back on my phone, it's fine. The Chromecasting to the TV is buggy because it's some proprietary hotel way of getting Chromecast. I'm not just picking Chromecast and picking my TV. I have to pair it with the TV so that I'm not invading someone else's TV and Chromecasting to it. And because of that, something is out of whack, so it's not working. So we end up putting my phone's kickstand out from there and just sitting it down on the table and watching a very tiny version of the Kentucky Derby on my phone on streaming, even though we had a perfectly usable television in front of us.
That is all too, you know what? That is all too familiar. I don't like how familiar that story is. When essentially you realize like you've burnt all the capital you can on the tech fix, and it's like, I'll just accept. It's almost as though, Tom, stop me if you've heard this before, convenience trumped fidelity.
Fidelity, right? And if you're like, well, did you have an HDMI cable? Yes, I did, in my hotel room, which with the race starting in 2 minutes, I did not have time at that point to go run and get. I had a laptop. That would have been a bigger screen. Didn't have time. Basically, we got to the point where further troubleshooting was only going to prevent my sister from seeing the horse race. So the convenience of watching it on the phone trumped the fidelity of trying to figure something else out.
Yeah.
If you got something we should be on the lookout for, always email us, cordkillers@gmail.com.
Yeah, ABE. Always be emailing.
That's right. Honest Abe. That's what we call you when you honestly email us a lot. Brian likes to email people. You email people about stuff all the time.
Oh, heck yeah. Only when it's super important, though. Then I send out emails to the fine folks who signed up over at signup.scamstuff.com, and they're going to hear about stuff like our class coming up next month. Tom and I are hosting.
Are there any seats left?
There are a few seats left. So head on over to wizardacademy.org. You'll see on upcoming events, there's one labeled Do Your Weird Thing. It's got my face and Tom Merritt's face and Andrew Heaton's face and Justin Robert Young's face. It's the 2-day class, only top tier luxury style. And do me a favor, when you get sticker shock at the price, hit me up, cordkillers@gmail.com, and I'll give you the alumni discount that is 50% off.
What?
If anybody's listening to us, they're one of our bosses. It's an incredible deal. Plus, you get to bring your significant other. Plus, you get 2-3 nights of accommodation. Plus, you get all of your meals catered. It is plus all you care to drink, wine and beer and the Wizard Tower. You're gonna.
I feel like at 50% off, the cost is worth just the wine and beer.
Yeah,
Whoa,
there's
they
a
have really
reason.
good stuff.
There's a reason Bonnie and I they're like 3 whole days away from the kids. You got it. We took a lot of classes. It's great.
Well, how do they find that again? What's the URL?
Wizardacademy.org.
All right, let's scan the horizon.
Send a scanning to avoid.
Scanning the horizon!
The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences has announced new rules for the 99th Oscars that will require to be nominated for an acting award. Your role must, and I quote, demonstrably performed by humans with their consent. For screenplays, they need to be human authored with a producer signing an affidavit of human origin of the script. You can still win an award for visual effects, sound, editing, if you've used any kind of AI tools, no restrictions there. But your role must be demonstrably performed by humans with their consent is an interesting one. And your script must be human authored. The rules take effect for the ceremony next year, March 14th, 2027.
Yeah. Tom, maybe I'll surprise you. I don't hate this. Like,
I don't hate this either.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's a silly conversation to have, but it seems like a necessary one. It feels
like a perfectly reasonable one to say, like, there's a lot of slop out here. Let's just kind of reduce the amount we have to go through and say, this is a human acting award. Maybe someday we'll have a virtual acting award category.
Yeah, and it will go to a team or an auteur.
Yeah, right, exactly. It'd be like visual effects, right? It would be a separate award. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, it is a little bit derivative. I feel like they kind of ripped us off from 30 minutes ago when we were asking what is TV. Now they got to ask what is an actor. But I mean, that's fine.
Okay.
The sequel's never as good as the original. Yeah. I get it.
I imagine there's going to be a lot of people arguing about, like, well, does that mean I can't use ChatGPT for research for my screenplay? And I don't think that's what they're after at all. What they want is a producer to go like, guy wrote this, right? He didn't just prompt ChatGPT and take what it gave him, right? Okay, cool. That's all we care about.
Yeah. Well, and basically it's like, if this is a popularity contest of voting awards, and it's like, to begin that game, you have to agree what's in and out of bounds. And that seems fine.
We got earnings for Roku, strong first quarter results, 27% rise in advertising revenue, overall revenue up 22%. Ads were just about half of Roku's revenue now. Paid subscriptions was pretty much most of the rest. Tiny sliver is hardware sales. So it's been a long time since Roku made their money off of actually selling you a box. They sell you the box in order to then sell you paid subscriptions and ads. Hardware sales was a small chunk. Also notable was that Howdy, Roku's $3 a month paid streaming service, has now reached 1 million subscribers, according to Antenna. And in part, that's because Howdy's now available outside of Roku's operating system.
Yeah, I think that's a good niche. I think that Roku has done a very adroit play in that regard.
Do you remember years ago when we were like, guys, just pay attention. Roku is becoming an advertising company. And now it's like, not surprising that they're an advertising company. That's how they're making a lot of their money. The CW. A lot of people maybe not know what the CW is. It was formed as a joint venture between CBS and Warner Brothers, hence the C and the W. It is a broadcast network. It has an app where you can access its shows with streaming, and they're available the next day, but it doesn't have a subscription service. It's not on another platform. CW has finally entered the streaming world. It's one of the last through the door. It's got a lot of sports programming, and so it is licensing the streaming rights for its sports programming to ESPN. So if you want to watch the shows that are the games that are on the CW broadcast network, you can be an ESPN subscriber and get those. And its entertainment programs, so its dramas and comedies and all of that, will show up on the Roku channel, the ad-supported Roku channel, which is honestly not that much different than CW's own app. It's just more people watch the Roku channel. Nexstar Media Group acquired 75% of the CW in 2022, a majority stake that has actually grown since then. They now own 81% of it. Nexstar is a local channel operator. So this is an interesting situation for it to be in. Paramount and Warner Brothers still have a small amount, but it's obviously less than half of 9% each.
I'll tell you what's an interesting wrinkle to this. If here is almost certainly a real conversation that's happening as CW gets a streaming service is, oh, we have a terrible problem, sir. What is it? Our number one primetime show, almost all the content of it is available for YouTube. What? That's our content. Tell them to take it down. Problem, sir. It's baked into the agreement of every single person who went on the show. What is this show? Penn and Teller's Fool Us. Because they understand the value of it being a showcase piece. It's baked in the content that you get to put, I think technically it's at up to 3 minutes or something, but realistically, everybody gets to put their act on YouTube because it's an important thing. That's a problem. Now, if CW wants to have a streaming service and one of their top tier shows, all the content's available on YouTube. I thought that was interesting.
I think that might be a small consideration in this for sure, because it's such a popular show. Don't get me wrong. I think even more so is the fact that Nexstar is a local channel group, and it is not in their interests for streaming services to exist. And so they've resisted it. That's why there's just a CW app, because they're like, well, we either want you to watch free over the air or on cable, or I guess with ads on an app, but we don't want to make it easy for you. And they don't want to create a streaming service, which I almost wish they would, because local content needs a home. But instead they're just like, well, at least we can become a program creator and sell our stuff to others out there, like ESPN and Roku.
Yeah.
Finally, in Q1, Paramount Plus added about 700,000 subscribers, and overall revenue from direct-to-consumer operations like Paramount Plus increased 11%. That's all good news for Star Trek fans, because it
I
means
was
Paramount
about to
Plus
say,
is
I
still
can
really
only
good.
think of one category.
Yeah. I know there's some other stuff on Paramount Plus that's popular, but that for our audience is probably the most relevant. All right, hold now for the chatter.
Got mail.
And much chatter we have this week. Let's start with Nikki M. Hi, guys. I might be in the minority, but I watch a lot of shorts, Chinese short dramas that link to either the entire movie or a longer version that leads to the app. Also, the shorts that lead to movie reviews and reactions or news shorts, then going to the full story. What I would want from Multiview, I'm a Movies Anywhere person, which includes YouTube, and movie reaction person. Many of them have the full reaction within Patreon, which is housed on YouTube. You would have to link your own copy. What if instead the main view was the movie you own from Movies Anywhere or rent via YouTube, and the smaller view was the reactor? Or even better, your top 3 reactors that you support via YouTube or Patreon across the bottom. Maybe you use a link when renting the movie as a kickback to the reactor. Either way, it's kind of my jam. Syncing the movies and TV shows can be hard, but YouTube making that a non-issue, count me in.
Yeah, no, I'm here for it. I've softened on my stance on React videos. I no longer think they're low effort because they fill a virtualized need. Just like Twitch.tv, watching other people play video games, satisfies the big brother on the couch playing a game while you watch. There's something about like, oh my God, I love this thing. I like this person. I want to watch this person react to this thing that I love.
Yeah. I thought it was funny that Nikki was explaining exactly what you were describing earlier of like, I like a short that then takes me to the longer version. So that clearly is a market out there. And yeah, as far as React videos go for me, I like to use React videos for second watches sometimes. There's a Patreon that I subscribe to called X Celeste, and X Celeste will rewatch things, or will not rewatch it. She'll watch and react to things, and I'll often use her react as my second watch. Like, oh, I want to hear what she has to say because she's steeped in the lore of all this and can explain some things that maybe I missed. I think they're great for that. I also like it when creators react to their own thing, which is basically just director's commentary, right? I think that's a kind of reaction video as well.
Well, I mean, if you like that, Tom, then you should tune in every morning for office hours. Today was day 87.
Exactly. Sean writes, Agent Coulson in the MCU first appeared in the issue of Clark Gregg inspired the character, not in any comic book, but his 8 episodes in The West Wing as FBI Special Agent Michael Casper for whenever the president needed a liaison because cabinet members almost never were shown on screen throughout the series. So the director of the FBI was never talking to President Bartlett. Episode 705 of Mark Maron's WTF podcast is where I learned that Agent Coulson's character was inspired by Gregg's portrayal on The West Wing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, that's cool, Sean. Bill near Athens, Georgia says, since you're going to watch the Magnum PI Murder, She Wrote crossover, I've been wondering if there are any crossover episodes we never got and you really wish we had, or ones that you want with currently running shows. My pick for a current crossover is I'd love there to be a Bosch Lincoln Lawyer crossover because both characters are based on Michael Connelly books and are set in Los Angeles. What do you think, Brian?
Oh, yeah. I mean, those are two things I don't watch. And so, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, not of that particular crossover, but what to his question, are there any crossovers of shows that you wish you could see?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Tom, because I don't know. What about you?
You don't watch television, do you, Brian?
Well, I mean, I've got a lot, like, I'm just thinking of the back catalog of all the things I like. And then when I picture them crossing over, I might be just a little too cynic-pilled.
Well, and one of the problems is so many of the things we watch are universe-based now. Like,
it's not novel, right?
You know, the Enterprise showing up in Star Wars. I mean, that'd be interesting, I guess, but it's not a natural crossover, right? The crossovers are great when they conceivably exist in the same universe. And we have so many well-defined universes. It's like, well, there's the MCU and then there's the Game of Thrones universe. And I don't know, could Hacks cross over with anything? Could we see Deborah
if that,
pop
okay,
in on,
maybe there's
on Succession?
They bring him back. I mean, there's a number of opportunities for that. You know what? Get back to us after we've gone through the bridge.
Indeed. Ryu writes, on last week's Cordkillers, you asked about what do I want out of something like Netflix or Disney Plus. Here's what I want. I want to be able to list out all my favorite shows and YouTube series and then have them played randomly like a television network would do and play things in order. I have approximated that with a very large hard drive, and a VLC playlist that is randomized. However, it does not play the shows in order, so it's not quite perfect. Not exactly what.
Get ready for this next year. 1 year from now, this feels like it'll be a trivial thing for a robot to do.
Sean is trying to convince Brian to watch For All Mankind. Sean said, I just watched episode 6 of For All Mankind, and the comparison that comes to mind between a galactic-wide rebellion of Andor and the Star Wars universe and that of a very intimate rebellion among the 5,500 inhabitants of Happy Valley Mars colony is stark. Andor successfully showed an interplanetary rebellion that was taking place across thousands of worlds with snippets of key moments that push forward the rebellion. In For All Mankind, the rebels very personal and intimate, which is a function of a limited cast, but also how small of a scale the rebellion where we are shown every detail of the rebellion, not just sampling that we are shown in Andor. I find the burgeoning rebellion of Andor more inspiring, but For All Mankind has more practical and a plausible rebellion.
Yeah, well, I'm here for it.
Are you?
Yes. I am. We talked about what was the Star City one? That being an honor.
Yeah, getting it on the ground floor of that. And then Norm from Visalia, Go Oaks, writes, "Hi guys, I wanted to write in about the segment on YouTube multiviews. I could not believe the two of you spent 25 minutes on it. You gave multiviews more analysis than the feature has ever received in its entire existence. The part that really made me laugh was when Tom asked Brian what he would use it for, and he never really answered. That moment summed up the whole feature for me. Just wanted to share the reaction. It was a fun segment, even if the topic did not deserve the amount of analysis it received. I looked forward to this going nowhere."
Yeah, no, it is telling that it's like, all I could do, what would you do with it, Brian? I can imagine somebody else wanting blank, 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 blank.
I think the problem Brian had was he was trying to come up with a good answer.
Yep.
Well, that is it for this episode of Cordkillers. Our website is cordkillers.com. Our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com. And we are live on twitch.tv/nightattack and youtube.com/modernrogue Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. I reckon we'll talk to you next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Yeah. I'll be back.
What?
I have to get
Good
grounded.
show. Get grounded?
Coffee grounded.
Oh, I get it. Because coffee has grounds. Get it, Amos?
I do. Ryan, you want me to call back in on the audio?
No, I extended the session, so we should be good.
Oh, you did? Okay.
The session has been extended. Diamond Club hopes you've enjoyed this program.
I forgot. You were mentioning crossover.
What did you forget?
Shows.
Glossover shows? Oh, you were thinking of crossover shows? Did you think of a good one?
Yeah. No, I just thought of one that would fit. I can't remember which show did you mention?
Me?
Yeah, about the girl and the Hollywood actress.
Oh, Hacks.
Hacks, and Only Murders in the Building.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Only Murders is a good crossover. I like that.
Because they're both ostensibly about Hollywood and the crappy way that the things are done there. But yeah, as soon as you said Hacks, I said, "Oh, Only Murders."
Yeah, they got a similar vibe. Sorry, I'm answering someone who's like responding to a clickbaity thing by finding something that's not clickbaity that explains it better. Like essentially what's going on is it Chrome? Google Chrome is downloading a nano model so that it can run directly instead of having to send it off.
Oh.
But it's 4 gigabytes, which is really big.
That's not small.
Yeah.
For stench.
If you enable certain AI features, it then downloads. So the only part that you're not giving permission to is specifically for a file that big, but you never do. No one ever says like, well, tell me how big the file is before I give permission.
Yep.
But someone else wanted to get a lot of clicks.
I walked in and heard something permission, but somebody else wanted the clicks. What did I miss?
Yeah, no, somebody sent me a link. It was like, Chrome is ruining civilization by violating your privacy with a huge download. And so I was finding a Tom's Hardware story that explained like, yeah, this download is pretty big, but otherwise it's not.
It's pretty great.
There's nothing. Well, I don't know if it's pretty great. It is 4 gigabytes is a lot to download it in your browser update. I used to not even have a 4 gigabyte hard drive. My gosh.
Oh, there we go.
My first hard drive was 2 gigabytes, but it had to be partitioned because it was on Windows 95A.
If I make that too bright, does it just flatten me out?
I'm liking it right now.
Okay, I'll leave it. Awesome. All right, gentlemen. Take us in whenever, Ryan.
Welcome to The Full Experience. This is a show that watches the first, ultimate, lowest, and last episode of a series in an effort to see if we can capture the entire run of the entire series. And we are finishing up our drive through Hawaii with Magnum P.I. by talking about the last episode, 8/13, season 8, episode 13, Resolutions, which first aired May 1st, 1988. Wow, almost exactly on the anniversary of 1988. So that would be a long time ago. I am going to now stop trying to do math in my head while I talk. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
Isn't it funny how that works? I kind of wanted to keep doing the math.
38 years ago, as of May 1st. Yeah. So we're not finished with Magnum P.I. We'll get to that at the end of the episode, but we are finished with this full experience window. And we really did jump quite a bit ahead because we watched 2 episodes from season 1 episode from season 3. What did you take away from season 8?
Well, I was taking a moment to notice how much had changed. Because that's a big jump from 1980 to 1988. And a lot of things happened in there. For example, there was that episode where he was out kayaking and he was worried about sharks. And at some point, we jumped the shark and ended up at 1988. I didn't love this finale, Tom. But I will say, shouts out to 1988 because did you guys raise an eyebrow with the surprise appearance with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Is that the first time on television that those words were spoken?
Were they? I don't know. Amos is nodding his head.
I don't know, but it was issue 2.
I did not expect that to. I did not see that coming. Right? Like, yeah. I think that might have been the first time those words were spoken on television.
Yeah, it was framed as a throwaway, and man, what a not a throwaway it was. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was huge just a few years later.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the TV series started in 1987. Was it on the same network as Magnum? Is that why they were throwing it out there?
Well,
I don't see any obvious overlaps yet, but who knows?
I'm gonna do a deep research.
Explain to me the significance of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles experiencing
I'm going to spend a deep research credit on this.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time on TV because the animated series was already out.
Oh, no, it wasn't. Earlier. No. Wait, it was? In 1987?
Yeah, 87 is when it started.
Well, that ruins my whole...
sorry.
My whole thing.
Let me save you some tokens there.
All right.
This is a more serious Magnum, and we're doing a veteran story, like in the 4 episodes that we watched for the full experience. Like, this definitely wraps it up. We did get a montage of Magnum's ex-girlfriends, so I was worried we were going to go clip show at one point. Thankfully, it didn't. But it was very broody. It was a very different tone than the other Magnums that we've watched.
So this bugged me so much that I did a little poking around. At the time, this was a beloved finale to a series. Do you have a guess at how many people watched this, Amos, Tom?
You got to guess, Amos? I don't know what the 88 standard was,
Right.
but I'm sure it's tens of millions, and this probably got, I don't know, 30 million?
50 million people tuned in live. 25% of the United States, or I guess, no, even more. I think it was a 33% share that it got at the time. Also, universally beloved. And I thought, why is it universally beloved? The reason it was universally beloved is because it fixed the cliffhanger ending at the end of season 7, when it was not clear whether or not they were going to get a renewal. And the last episode of season 7 ended with some kind of coma thing and him walking into a light. It's not clear if he lived or died. Maybe that's the end. And instead, they very, very flatly wanted to establish, nope, he gets the girl. It's a daughter. Will he or won't he join the Navy? He definitely joins the Navy. In fact, TC, and I understand, poetically from the outside looking in, with context, it's a little bit like, I don't know, the movie Primer gets better if you read the Wikipedia article. You're like, oh,
Okay,
I get it
sure,
now. It's
yeah.
great. That's how I feel about this, right? Like when you understand, oh, wait, a recurring theme through the entire thing was, is Higgins Robin Masters or not?
Right. And I didn't remember that until this episode. And then I'm like, oh, right. I remember that was a thing now, although it wasn't in the 3 episodes that we had watched up till now.
Right. And then also thematically, you piece together kind of you got to do something with your brain because you're busy being bored. There's certainly nothing good. It's just a brooding, mush-minded, should I or shouldn't I, a very un-Magnum PI. The thing we fell in love with episode 1 is how obstinately he refuses to emerge from adolescence. He's like, no, you don't understand. The whole conceit is adulthood was thrust upon me, and I'm going to be a teenager for a bit. And then, oh, maybe blah, blah, blah. Look, I'm sure that whinging tickled some kind of sour note harmony in the brains of everybody watching, but in isolation, didn't care for it, Tom. Not my Magnum.
I didn't vote for him. I feel like on paper, this could be a fitting end to that. I want a second child. I want my teenagers years back, where it's like, okay, I have done that now. And now I am ready to accept responsibility and take on a daughter and find a quote unquote real job. I didn't get that from this. The daughter thing made me wonder if we were watching him in a coma, having a dream, because she seemed like a spooky daughter out of a, horror film or something. Like she only speaks French, but all she does is smile. And then he was seeing a picture in his mind of a memory of her in a little cap. And then that's what she's in when she shows up. I'm like, I don't know if I believe this is real, but then it turned out that I was supposed to believe it was real, at least in the end. The other thing was, we never found out why he wanted to leave the Navy, why he refused to go back to the Navy. That was dangled in front of us the entire series and dangled in front of us again in this episode. And all we get is, yeah, I re-enlisted. That's why I didn't need a tux.
There were a lot of weird, bad dream-like moments, like when he's waiting for his grandfather and here's a note, and he's like, kind of in that dream logic way. He's like, I can't really read it. Will you read it to me? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why could he not read the note? And then also like trusted confidants lie, and then word salad the reasons for why I'm sorry, when you thought you cracked the case, it broke my heart to totally no sell your bit when I knew the whole time. Like this seems like a lot. This is the way you would write, and I would place a hard money bet on this. This is how you write when people are arguing how to end the show, but you need the pieces anyway. So you write the set pieces, and you do a bunch of whinging takes, and you end up with something that by committee is agreed. You fix the things that upset/engaged America the previous
year.
The
grandpa gets introduced and seems to be important. Then he disappears. Then he comes back and you're like, okay, now we're going to get the grandpa shoe. And they have the longest, draggiest cigar smoking scene ever seen on primetime television. And then he just leaves with a note that said, I guess I'm not good at sticking around.
I mean, with the benefit of hindsight, I enjoyed nothing about that process. But at the end, after I read the Wikipedia article, do I understand they needed to rub that grandfather was the track that Magnum was on to become. And he's disgusted by the indecision and the lack of commitment.
If only we'd seen a scene where he decided to re-enlist, I would totally have gotten that, I think.
Well, but then you see that breaks the cliffhanger of like, because did you notice that maybe did he kill the guy or was he killed by the guy?
Wait, what cliffhanger? The cliffhanger was 13 episodes ago, wasn't it?
No, the cliffhanger was we had him in the haunted house scene where there's blood dripping, go to commercial break, and he's not showing up for
I see.
right.
Yeah.
And now, having said all this, I really Rick waits a full minute before saying I do, if he does say that. And during that time, like I went back and I counted because again, you can't show all the expectant, annoyed gazes at once. So instead we have to do them all in series. And it's a full minute and change of everybody saying, are you? And then, but what I like about that is it was long enough for us to realize, oh yeah, TC picked a lane, Magnum picked a lane, Higgins picked a lane. Was there another one there? No. And then I kind of didn't mind that there was one lost boy that wanted to stay in Neverland, if that's what happened.
Okay. And honestly, it explains a lot that there were a lot of things in this episode that you had to know going in for it to make sense as a Magnum fan. And that is a shortcoming in the full experience process. But it's also not an uncommon problem with series finales. Usually it's more just nostalgia. Let's wallow in how great stuff was. Lost did a bit of that. And it was like, well, these are things we know because we watched it before, but we wouldn't know from the full experience. I feel like it's similar to that.
Well,
is what's going on.
Whereas so for real watchers of Lost at the time, it was over sanding and over polishing everything. Whereas for the full experience, I thought it was ideal. I thought you got the full experience on that.
Amos, I'm curious if you're still around, if you're still with us. As a veteran yourself, and this very much, was a veteran story through all 4 episodes. How did this one land for you?
Wow. This felt like they had a big whiteboard of all of the leftovers, all the stories they hadn't finished. They stacked them up and said, how many can we finish in a 2-hour, prioritize them. And then just, that's what we're going to concentrate on. We're going to close out all of these in order. And it seemed really, really boring, to be honest. Maybe it's because we only saw 4 episodes, but like I didn't feel invested in hardly any of these stories being closed out. So it didn't strike me as really that important. And when at the end, when he goes back into the Navy, which wouldn't be an enlistment, by the way, it'd be a commission. That like didn't surprise me. Like that seemed like the normal. It just seemed like what he should do, where it would go, because it started with him freshly out of the Navy. I do like the fact that it kept the timeline straight, because he left the Navy at 33. The show was 8 years long. You add a little change to that. He was celebrating his 42nd birthday, so the timeline actually kept going. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the bar they were showing boobs. They were there.
Yeah,
I
did notice that.
Yeah.
No, not in the painting.
No,
the
one of the
strippers.
dancers.
Yeah.
In the background took off her shirt. Now she may have had tassels on or
Nope.
something
The-
because
the-
I couldn't
the-
tell, but
Because I paid attention because of
because did you miss the part where his shirt came off?
No, but well, I was thinking about it because the before we had the N word being thrown around, like, okay, well, that was something that wouldn't happen today. This is something that wouldn't happen today. So I paid
this
attention
is
to it
something
the
that
first
wouldn't
time.
happen in 1988. Honestly.
Right. See, it's the first time you get the side view and it's kind of obscured. The second time she goes straight on, but she's got her arms over it. The third time, it's just like if you pay attention, it's just full frontal. So there's that.
Yeah, that fight scene almost breathed life into it. How did you like the spooky tiger predator vision where it's like they're showing creepy leering gonna get you? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm actually trying to find if anyone says this is only on the DVDs. It didn't broadcast that way, but nobody is saying that. Yeah, I mean, another just drag. A lot of very draggy scenes in this entire thing. It really felt like a single episode that they pulled to be 90 minutes. you
Yeah.
know, that they stretched out.
It felt like the actors didn't want to be there.
Really? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
I
thought
don't know if
didn't
it was that or it was just a boring story and I guess that's two sides of the same coin, but
yeah.
I can tell you that I didn't want to be there.
Yeah. How about that 15-minute opening where we got not Hawaii with not Magnum and not like he was on the hunt for a story? I don't know. This felt very Murder, She Wrote-y, like the mystery of who planned a surprise party.
What's the cop show that he went on? Tom Selleck went on to be in for the longest time.
Blue Blood or
Yeah, Blue Blood. It was a backdoor pilot for Blue Blood, basically. Now, I loved that that Higgins admitted he was Robin Masters. I thought in the pilot, though, that we learned that Magnum knew Robin Masters.
Well,
But maybe it was more vague than I remember, and so it fits. And then Higgins goes and pulls the rug back out and goes, "No, I'm not." So I don't know. I don't even know what to think. It was like, pick a lane, somebody. Come on.
the in the first episode, Magnum PI had said, well, I'll just call Mr. Masters himself and get this straightened out, because he was having an argument with Higgins over something. So that's where I think you inferred that he might have known him personally, because that was one of the things I noticed. Is like, hey, wait,
I do like the idea.
Yeah.
I do like the idea that Higgins. I don't know. I like the idea that he's the one, but
I like that idea too. I just had to square it with the things from episode 1 where it's like, oh, these are Mr. Masters' two knockout bombshell blonde friends. Pretend you don't know me. I'm, like.
oh yeah, that would be weird. That does break a lot. There's a lot of it's a bit like there was one time I took a pirated copy of Memento and recut it to be linear forward, and boy is it a stupid movie that way. Boy is it stupid. They're like, you just saw it. What are you doing?
The only other note I have here is one that Amos may or may not appreciate, but I was just at Gate 6 at Honolulu Airport not that long ago, and it looked pretty much the same as it does in Magnum PI's shot from 1988.
The only real difference there is that it's the Daniel Inouye International Airport now.
Yeah. And Gate 6 was a United Gate in Magnum PI. I believe it's a Delta Gate now.
Well, there you go. There's the difference.
Big difference.
Brian, you said 50 million people watched this. Just to put that in perspective, the Super Bowl that year of 1988 was 80.14 million.
Yeah.
So you're talking over half the TV audience of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I
mean, you do have
not
to remember
small.
that popular shows reached those numbers regularly back then. It's not like Magnum was unique, but you had to be a very popular show to reach those numbers. So Magnum is up there in that level. All right. Any other thoughts on the full experience of Magnum PI?
I'm going to say it definitely passes the full experience test. I don't love, I mean, I guess I assume it's part of the record that there was spotty quality, ups and downs. So our
Sure.
sampling did reveal,
Yep.
that it had ups and downs.
Well, and I feel like I know all the major beats, like him in the Ferrari, his dispute with Higgins. I know how it ends. That's one of the reasons we always watch the last episode is that, there's always the wrap up stuff. So I know, oh, right, he had a daughter and he was reunited with her in the end. So yeah, I think it gets a passing grade for a full experience.
I
feel conversant in it. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that because you may be thinking from what Amos just said, if you haven't been a patron listening to After Talk, that Murder, She Wrote is our next full experience. And you'd be almost right. Before we do the Murder, She Wrote full experience, we are going to be doing something never before done in full experience history. We are doing 2 bridge episodes between 2 full experiences. Our next discussion will be of another Magnum PI episode, season 7, episode 8, called Novel Connection, in which Magnum makes friends with an old writer mystery investigator from out east. And then we will follow that up with season 3, episode 8 of Murder, She Wrote, called Magnum on Ice, which I believe will have Magnum on ice in an episode of Murder, She Wrote. So a little Angela Lansbury, Tom Selleck crossover bridge episodes before we start the normal first Ultimate Lowest Last of Murder, She Wrote. So for the next episode of Full Experience, watch Magnum PI Season 7, Episode 8, Novel Connection. If you want to know how we got to this crazy plan, you can listen to us actually discover it ourselves on After Talk like a month or so back. So go check that out by becoming a patron at patreon.com/Cordkillers. You'll also get episodes of the full experience earlier as well as After Talk. Go do it now. Until next time, we'll see you. Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. All right. Bye, live people. Bye.
Goodbye, living people.
We'll be back with Great Night. See ya.